In this world of technology, things are ever changing, rearranging. You need someone to help you out. I know someone who can. Come and take a journey with me as we go through the land of technology. You'll never be alone. You'll be with Paul Amadeus Lane in the tech zone.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Paul Amadeus Lane. This is the Tech Zone. So happy you decided to stay with me or even tune in right now. If you missed the first segment of the show, we talked about how all the other AIs out there, like Amazon, Alexa, like Siri, are all trying to catch up with Google and what Google is doing with their AI. And Apple had a huge hire when it comes to this. And if you missed that, make sure you check out the first segment of the show. But what I'm going to do, though, is talk about something else I talked about in the first segment of the show. A big announcement. How you all know I cover tech and also entertainment. So with so much entertainment content out there, we'll be launching a new show very soon called the Entertainment Zone. So we'll keep you posted on that and all the other great things. We're excited. Yes. All right. So if you are like me, you probably scratch your eye when it itches, but you have a lot of devices out there and you may plug them any but everywhere. Wouldn't it be nice to have one area where you can plug your devices in, your multiple devices, so that you can find them too? Well, my next guest is going to talk about what his innovation is doing to help meet that challenge. I am so happy to have with me right now the inventor of udoq, Marcus Kukler. Marcus, all the way from Munich, Germany. How are you, my friend?
Very good. Thank you so much. How are you?
I am doing fantastic, and I am so glad to have you on the show. When I found out about this project and this product that you developed, I was so intrigued because a lot of us have all these different devices out there, and it's nice just to have one piece of charging equipment that you can put everything on. What made you create the udoq?
Oh, that was an idea I got because my sons always used my cables. They are 15 and 11 years old. And I got up in the morning and then my phone was empty. It was not charged, or I couldn't find the right cable. And I said to myself, there must be a solution in the market where the cables are attached to a docking station, but still movable. So I can dock different sizes and different kinds and different brands of devices.
And Marcus, this is the first ever in the world, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the first, and it's a unique solution. First, I approached to my patent attorney with this idea, and he said there should be something similar in the market, but he couldn't find anything, and we applied a patent on this sliding connector in a rail, and it proved to be the only one and the first one in the market. And so we got this patent filed first in Europe, then in the US, then in Japan, and at least also in China.
And now, Marcus, on the screen, for those who are viewing, we saw like several devices being plugged in. Now, you actually have a udoq in your hand right now. And why don't you take us through the innovation of how it's created?
I mean, the most important part is actually here this open rail, and as you can see, this is one adapter. It's a micro USB adapter in this case, and the only simple thing is that you slide this in, and as you can see, it can travel along this rail. You just shift it where you want to have it, and it can also swivel a little bit, to give the phone some freedom to move when you dock it in or out. And you can now slide in as many different cables you want. We have one for Apple Lightning, we have one for the 30-pin Apple, the old one, and we have, of course, USB-C. And all these different cables have the same format, the same adapter, and so they travel inside this rail.
Wow. So Marcus, if we have like a family that has some Samsung Galaxies and some iPhones, we can use the same docking if we had the right type of connectors?
Exactly.
Wow.
That's the beauty of the product, that you can actually configure on our website your udoq by choosing your products, your phones, your tablets, or iPods or e-reader, and by clicking these single products, you just configure your udoq and you get the plugs and the rail fitting to your device. It will calculate the length of the udoq as well as the type of connectors you need.
Wow. That is so cool. And to invent something like this, Marcus, you talked about the necessity because your sons and your phone not being charged, but putting something like this together, what were some of the challenges and some of the highs and lows of getting this product to where it's at today?
I mean, first of all, you start with this innovation and with the patent application, then development, and then over 3, 4 years, it sums up to become a big amount of investment of moldings you do for the plastic parts, for the aluminum extrusion, and then you start with marketing, and all this together sums up to a pretty big amount of money. And I had not this big hurdle because that all came together one by one, so it was never this big amount to me. If somebody would have told me I have to invest several $100,000 to make this product move, I would have hesitated. But since that was a kind of salami, slice by slice development, yeah, it was not so critical to me.
And so, Marcus, when we look at the times in which we live in today, where we have smart devices, I remember when the cell phones were the big brick phones. Remember that from Miami Vice, the show Miami Vice had
Absolutely,
the
yes,
big old brick
yes.
phones, and now we have the smaller devices, and we have the tablets. And did you ever think, and as an inventor, did you ever think you would see technology where it's at today, where all these devices, these tablets, would basically be a staple in our lives?
Yeah, I mean, it's a unbelievable development that everything moves from desktop into our pockets or into our bags. Everything's mobile, and the market shows that these mobile devices are still growing. We talk about billions, many billions in the world, nearly as much as people in the world. We have mobile devices, and that also brings the problem with yeah, people using these devices, let's say 24 hours a day closely. I mean, they work with it, and they run with it. They sleep next to their phone, and they even have dinner with their phones in their hands, and that's a big problem as far as I see this development. So UDOG is also made to teach the people a little bit about the usage of their phones, to give them a chance to dock them at a certain spot. Probably all family members dock their phones, and you have a dinner without somebody getting a text message and looking at their phones. Same with meeting rooms. So there's a kind of educational idea behind this product too.
That makes a lot of sense because we are kind of glued to our devices, and I'm glad you brought that up because we need to put them down, especially when it comes to dinner time, so that we can interact as a family and chat. And one slide that we showed that really is dynamic is this one right here, where you have a tablet, a couple of cell phones, and a smartwatch. Now,
Yes.
I know, like for myself and my wife, we have about seven devices, maybe eight in between us, and we run out of plugs. We got to plug it this side of the house, that side of the house. But at UDOC, you guys have helped us to really come up with a solution so that we can put it in one place.
Yeah, and you find them in one place. There's a very old invention called key rack, and once you have a bunch of keys, one for your car, one for your house, one for your whatever shed or something, then you or human beings use this kind of key rack to find their keys, because searching keys is a some 100-year-old bad habit. And this is very similar with the UDOG. You have that in one spot in your home, and you never have to search your mobile devices. You find them every time because you know it's in exactly one spot.
And Marcus, the way that this is created is that, let's say that in a few years down the line, we have another plug that we're using, because we know we started off with the micro USB when it comes to charging. Now it's the USB-C. We got the 30 pin. The way that this udoq is created, it kind of puts you in the right place if there's ever an expansion when it comes to different plugs, the way that you guys created this.
Absolutely. The basic idea also with this product is that I split the mechanical part from the electronical part. The mechanical part here, in this case, an aluminum bar, which can actually get very different shapes in the future, is something very robust and very long lasting. You won't find that with many electronic products. Most of them have a life cycle of a year or 1.5 years, and then you throw them away. So you make them with cheap plastic. And that's also something that I want to contribute to the environment, because this is solid aluminum. It will not rust. It will not bend. It will not, you can't destroy it actually. And this will last for a lifetime. And the plugs are separate and they can be exchanged. And whatever plug comes, we just fit them into our adapters and slide them in.
Hey.
But before you ask, we also have, of course, you mentioned the adapter for watches, like the smartwatch from Apple. And of course, we have a QI adapter, which we will bring out very soon. I have already a working sample around the corner if you're interested. And more and more technologies will come up, and we can still slide them in and modify and update the udoq.
Wow. So you guys thought of everything.
I hope so. That's that's part of my job here, to think about what could come and what could happen. And speaking of the QI, everybody talks about it and many people ask about it. We will bring one, but I have this feeling that it's not a very good solution, since it has such a bad performance in terms of energy transfer. If you can imagine that that you charge 1 billion phones and you only have 70% efficiency with charging those phones, because the energy goes past this coils, past this induction coils, I think it's an ecological disaster. So I hope there either this QI charging or inductive or wireless charging gets more efficient to not lose so much energy, or people will finally find out, okay, it's not so hard plugging that on instead of throwing it somewhere. I mean, that is not just a big difference.
No, it makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Now, one thing we didn't really touch on that I really wanted to touch on was that how the udoq helps us out when it comes to clutter, the spaghetti, and talk about that just for a moment.
Of course, udoq has these openings on the bottom side and on the top side and on both sides here. So you can choose where you want to route your cables and where you bundle them together. Once you have them bundled in one stream, you can choose if you plug it into your computer, which is this case now I have this plugged into my office space here and it syncs with my computers. Or if you want to have that freely standing in your flat or on a sideboard, then we have a thing called C-Box, and it's a box that fits in the back of the udoq, collects all the cables as well as the charger, and then you just hook it up with one power plug to your wall socket.
Wow, I love it. I love it. It'll help with all the clutter and help energy wise, and really appreciate you guys creating udoq, Marcus. And I want to give you your props too. I mean, you're a pretty amazing designer. I heard a rumor. Did you do some designing for Porsche as well too?
Yes, we worked since in the years of 95 till 2002. We worked for Porsche and did about 35 of their accessories, including a foldable toboggan and a lighter and a torch, and some of those accessories that you necessarily need when you drive a Porsche. But that was a great job, and it brought me close to that fascinating brand, which of course everybody knows in the world.
Absolutely. And have you always had that knack of wanting to be a designer and just creating things when you were younger, or was it something that you kind of stumbled in when you got a little older?
That's an interesting, funny question, because I have to take care that my boys don't hear me now, but I was so bad in school that the only chance for me was to do something by myself and to do something creative. And I started improving things and repairing things in my mom's house. And that's how it started, that I just became something like an inventor or improver. And I made this way somehow, and ended up in my office here and inventing things like a udoq.
That is awesome, and it's great catching up with you. Great talking with you. Now, if one would like to know more information about udoq, is there a website or something they can go to?
Of course, we have for the US. We have www.udoq.com. This has the US shop included, pricing and information, FAQs, and a lot of information about udoq. You also find some reviews there. Of course, for the European market, we have the same domain, just with a DE in the back instead of a com. And for the Asian world, we have the same domain, udoq.tw for Taiwan.
Awesome.
So on any place in the world, you could book and configure and buy a udoq.
I'm glad you said that, because the Tech Zone is worldwide, so I'm glad you definitely gave that for our listeners around the world and everything. Marcus, it's been a pleasure talking to you, my friend. And I tell you, just the way that you articulate, the way that you talk about the product, you can really sense the passion and the drive behind this product, and how it was created, with some love and passion, and want to give you all your props with that. And it was great talking to you, my friend. Thank you so much for your time in the interview. Great to speak to you. All right, look forward to catching up with you soon once you get some more products. So let's talk about it. Yes, anytime, Paul. Thank you so much. Once again, a huge shout out to my friend Marcus Kukler of udoq. That innovation is amazing. Make sure you check it out. I tell you, if you have a family that's divided with Amazon, not Amazon, but with Android and also Apple products, you can all just get along with one of those udoqs. So definitely check it out. Hey, when we get back, innovation is saving the wasteful spending when it comes to the medical field. How? We'll talk about it when we get back.
In this world of technology, things are ever changing, rearranging. You need someone to help you out. I know someone who can. Come and take a journey with me as we go through the land of technology. You'll never be alone. You'll be with Paul Amadeus Lane in the Tech Zone.